Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. In this video I am going to talk to you about Heliamphoras. Specifically I'm going to be repotting one today because it is due, but I just wanted to quickly give you an overview of my collection here. I'm not going to name names, but there's a couple trays full. Some of them are in spikes and more spikes up here. The plant that we're going to be working with today I think had just finished flowering, and I depollinated. I collected these seeds and have sown the seeds, but they have not germinated yet, but I'll keep you updated on that. So anyways, we're going to be taking from this pile here, and this is my Heliamphora minor, and that's what we're going to be working with today. So quite a good plant, lots of adult pitchers, no little pitchers in there. And I'm going to take that over and put it on the table, and then you're going to follow suit. So why don't we go over to the table with this plant. So here we are looking at a really close-up view of it. You can kind of see some of the hairs in the pictures. Nice looking plants. This was the old flower spike that I cut off this year, so that flowered for me. You can see lots of hairs down in the pictures here. Being it's a Heliamphora minor, it is one of the smaller varieties. Let me just back you up a bit. It's in a 4-inch pot, and it probably has, I don't know, those are probably 4-inch pitchers on it. Maybe a little bit more, but it's due for a repotting. It's been in the same pot for 2.5 years now. It's done really well in this pot, so I think I'm going to be using a very similar mix to what it already has. And it's winter time right now, so I grow it under lights, but I don't like the light too bright. I don't like the look of the red pitchers. I really like them to have a nice green to them. I find these guys, they really color up super easily, so you can control exactly what color you want. I like a nice like green pitcher with a red stripe there. They don't all have to be bright red for me. But anyways, enough with that. Let's get to the unpotting of this, and we'll see what the roots look like. So it's been in the same pot for 2.5 years, I think. And I'm just going to do this. Now we're going to get some water in this because I have to empty the pitchers to do this. We're going to turn it upside down, and it's just going to slide out. And there we go. You can see how much perlite I have used in this mix. And over the years, the peat has actually probably washed out of it, so it even looks like more perlite than it is. But you can see some nice healthy roots here. I'm not repotting this because it is in any way suffering. I'm just repotting this to show you how to repot it, and before it gets to that point of suffering. So you can see how loose the mix is. Even after a couple years, it just falls apart in my hand, which is great. Looks like I used some bark mix in there, and the bark is starting to break down now. You can see I can mush it with my one finger. That's a pretty big chunk of bark. So that's one of the reasons I am repotting this time, and I'm not using bark because it just deteriorates too much. So yeah, there it is there. Knock off the rest, but you can see how light and airy that mix was. So it's almost all off already. Now's your chance to remove anything like this as well to it. And there's a good close-up of some healthy roots. That root's a little bit darker than I like to see, but there's some great new roots in there as well. This would also be the time that these guys easily divide. I'm not planning on dividing today because space is an issue for me. I like to keep my little sections the way they are. If I divided everything each time I repotted, I would have so much of everything that it would be, the greenhouse would be so full. So there's not even much to trim on this guy. I am going to do one other thing. I'm going to take you over to the sink. Hopefully we can just work like this. Maybe if I work up kind of high, we can. I am just going to take my water here. I have hot and cold water in the greenhouse, so this is just a nice lukewarm. And I'm going to just go one step further and rinse all the crap off the roots if I can. I'm trying to get rid of the organic matter that's starting to decompose in there. So there we go. There's an old fertilizer slow release in there that can go away. And I just want to get right into the core. So don't let this freak you guys out. Nice gentle jet of water here. And I'm just going to remove some of the extra dirt. Look at how easy that just came out. So now it looks great. I could probably divide this into 4 plants. Like I say, I'm not going to though. It's nice and healthy the way it is. So now let's move back over to the table. Okay. There's the old mix, which I'm going to get rid of. And I am going to be potting it in a square pot this time, as opposed to the round pot, because as space becomes more of an issue in the greenhouse, I can get more square pots in the same space as I can round pots, even though they're the same size. My potting mix is here. I've already got it pre-mixed. You can see how much perlite is in that. A lot of perlite, and that's what we want. I also have some of my plants in a sphagnum perlite mix. They seem to be doing fine as well, but I've had good long-term results with peat and perlite, so it's working for me. So I'm just going to keep up with that. It's pre-mixed, slightly moistened. It's not bone dry. I'm just picking out some crud as I find it in here. It's not bone dry, but it's not. It's still going to be able to be easy to work with. All right. Hopefully this is going to be easy to do on camera. So I am basically going to put the plant in where it's supposed to be, and this is why I like a drier mix to start with, because I'm just going to backfill around the plant, and the roots being a little bit dry for a few minutes isn't going to hurt anything, but it enables me to really get the mix in between the roots here. So hopefully you can see right in there. You can still see where the roots are, and the media will go right in between it. And I don't want to crush the roots together. We don't want to pinch anything together. We want to keep the roots nice and spread out if we can. And there we go, just like so. Now this is very light and fluffy peat and perlite, so it's going to take some watering, and it's going to pack down, and I'm probably going to have to add a little bit more to it. This mix here is probably 50-50 peat perlite. It might not be quite as perlitey as the previous mix that you saw. That one was pretty heavy on the perlite, but it worked really well. So we'll try it with a little bit more peat this time, I guess. I thought it was about the same mix. It's funny how your memory is different after 2 or 3 years of what was actually in the bottom of the pot. So the other thing that has happened in the last 2 or 3 years is I've got 200 or 300 more plants, and what I'm going to do this time, because I didn't do it last time, is on the tag I'm going to write when this guy was repotted. That way I will remember for next time. And there we go. So the next step will be taking this to the sink, giving it a good drink, making sure the perlite and the peat are nice and moist. If you're working with bone dry peat, it's very hard to get wet. As I say, I pre-moisten my peat just with a splash of a couple cups of water into the bag, and then it slowly works its way through the whole bag. And you get this as just a nice, dry but moist mix. Anyways, that is repotting a Heliamphora. I also find they're a little bit wobbly at first until then you water the mix a few times. So make sure you got good roots there for that. And there we go. We give it a water, we're done. It's good for another 2 years, or until I need to divide it, which the way this guy's growing, it looks like I'm going to have to divide it fairly soon. So I hope you like this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. As always, thanks for watching. Here's one final shot after it's watering. I just used the shower setting on my nozzle, filled up all the pitchers again, gave the mix a nice water, and I made sure to write Repot 0216 on the tag. That way you have a really good idea when you last repotted and when it'll be time to repot again. And yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching.